Since 2012, the design of Coachman's flagship single-axle range, the VIP, has soldiered on largely unchanged. That's no bad thing. It was a fine-looking van, if somewhat traditional. But time waits for no man, and this is the all-new 2018 VIP. There have been some pretty significant alterations. For a start, it's available as both a single-axle and a twin-axle, with the old laser name being consigned to the history books. But perhaps more fundamentally, it looks completely different. It's still recognisably a VIP, with those strong vertical pillars and the grey roof rails running the length of the roof. But it looks much, much more modern, in particular at the front here, with this integrated sunroof and flush-fitting triple front window. Beneath that, you'll find not one, but two lockers, and we'll find out why shortly. Here on the offside, there's storage space for your outdoor paraphernalia, and on the near side, there's space for two gas bottles. Moving down the side of the van, well, not only are there brand new graphics, but there's also some new suppliers. Instead of a Truma gas point, we've got a Whale one for your outdoor barbecue. And there's an external locker with, inside it, a 230 volt point. I particularly like the treatment of the glazing on the door. It looks really quite smart. Well, it's great that it looks different, but let's find out what kind of changes are made inside. The first thing to strike you is the simply enormous panoramic front window. I think it's the largest I've ever seen in a caravan. It stretches the full width of the van. And it's at the front here that you start to realise the reasoning behind those twin lockers at the nose of the van. It means that this central chest can be pushed right to the front, which means a lot more lounging space in the lounge itself, with no chest intruding into your legroom. It's a very nice place to put your knickknacks and books and things on this front shelf too. Now, often with these front shelf designs, you do end up with a bit of a stepped coffee table, but not so in this Coachman. There's a rather nifty bit of design gone on here. Pull out the table and it pops up into place. And it's fairly sturdy when it's there too. To put it away, you simply pull it out and it drops down automatically, and away it goes. It's a rather funky bit of design. I do think these sofas are an attractive fabric as well. They're very comfortable and they're very soft. Now, as well as that central chest, there's plenty of other storage options. Overhead, there's not one, not two, but three lockers. Two of them featuring a new crank design and one small corner locker. And then underneath the sofas, there's plenty of space for all your bedding. It's just a bit of a shame there are no drop-down flaps to access that space. You've got to lift up the sofa bases, although they are on gas struts. The sofas themselves are a decent length and they're very comfortable. I particularly like this new fabric. It's really soft to the touch. They're probably a little bit short to be used as single beds, but it's very easy to turn this into a double by pulling out the slats and rearranging the cushions, and it's a very good sized double too. I particularly like the reading lights. You get one in each corner and they're touch sensitive. One for a nightlight and another to read. Even the baby of the VIP range, this 460 with its front lounge end washroom layout, is absolutely loaded with kit. We've got Aldi wet central heating, of course, and just inside the doorway here, a little heated cupboard, which is just the place to put your wet shoes so that they're dry next time you need them. I like this little alcove here, which has been brought over from the Pastiche and the Vision ranges. It's a great place to store your phone and your keys, so you can have it charging with this socket, and it's perfectly placed for when you want to leave the van. Over here on the near side, there's a useful storage cupboard alongside the fridge, and above that, there's a cutlery drawer and a fantastic sideboard. It's a really good size. The only criticism might be if you like to put your TV on the sideboard here, and of course there's all the sockets you need to do so, it's a little bit high set. But if that's the case, well, you can always put it on the front shelf. There's another set of aerial sockets, 12 volt and 230 volt there too. Overhead we've got a microwave in its new flush housing and some useful shelves. And one thing that is great to see is a couple of USB points. Everyone likes those for charging devices. Over here on the off side of the van, well, is a really large kitchen space. There's plenty of worktop. You're not going to need a pop-up worktop flap, and indeed there isn't one. Underneath we've got three huge drawers and a good sized cupboard. which has got a detail carried over from last year's laser range with these wire racks which pull out. They're just the thing for storing vegetables. There's a good sized sink, and it's got a glass cover. Should you need additional worktop space, it'll drop down. And there's a name that will keep reappearing in this VIP, and that is Dometic. Previously the VIP used lots of Thetford goodies, but now it's moved over to Dometic. We've got a Dometic fridge and a Dometic hob and separate oven and grill beneath. It's a dual fuel with 3 gas burners and an electric hot plate. And then overhead there is this new locker design, which is different from those in the main living area, so you can tell you're in the kitchen. Inside there's crockery racks and storage for bottles, and they've got new soft close hinges. Like its Pastiche and Vision siblings, the VIP 460 has got a simply fantastic end washroom. There's a superb shower cubicle. It's simply vast here in the near side corner. It's got a full moulded liner and moulded shelves for your gels and soaps. Behind me on the back wall there's a fantastic vanity unit complete with concealed mirrored cabinet and another cabinet underneath the good sized sink, plus a recessed wall mounted tap. Here in the offside corner, that name Dometic rears its head again because we've got a Dometic electric flush toilet, and it's a really good domestic size with a square bowl. Above it there's a frosted window, and then beside it, sited nearer to the axle line, sensibly for when you're on tow, there's a fantastic wardrobe. It's massive, lots of hanging space, and there are a couple of drawers underneath. And as if that wasn't enough, there is a small wardrobe alongside the shower, which is also where you'll find the freestanding lounge table. Replacing something as iconic as the VIP was never going to be an easy task, but Coachman certainly seems to have pulled it off. This VIP 460 has the luxury feel and spec to separate it from lowlier models in the Coachman portfolio. And with those modern new looks, it also has the style to take the fight to Swift's Conqueror and elegance too.